Hello and welcome. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at the Scorpion. So the Scorpion is the next in my Battlecruiser series of ships, and that means that it is a Class C ship that has a large crew capacity, beds for everyone, and at least 1,000 cargo. This is a purpose-designed warship, and for this particular ship, it started off as me trying to replicate the EVA Online ship of the same name. Now, when I went to go ahead and look up the Scorpion pictures, I discovered that the ship had been redesigned from its asymmetrical wonder into a far more symmetrical ship and one that is was actually buildable. Which, sometimes can be an important consideration. So, this was my rendition of that. You'll notice that it still looks almost like it's got little scorpion claws at the end. And of course, it has the tail fully loaded and ready for bear. Now, for ships that I like to pull out and fly and not just, fiddle around with and build, there are basically three ships that made it into my roster. The first is my Razor Leaf, which is a nice small Class B ship that manages to be nice and cozy. The second was my Hammerhead Cruiser, because there's just something really cool about that ship. And the third is this, because sometimes you just want to make a statement, and this ship, this ship makes a statement. The last thing I'll say about this ship before I dive into the tour is this ship has gone through a few iterations, and it doesn't look exactly like it did when I first built it. And I am making use of the ship flip glitch, so you will need that enabled if you want to copy this design. Alright, enough talking. Let's go take a look. Alright, so you can see that we are using the front mounted Deimos landing bay. And there's plenty of room under here, so you can go ahead and walk along the sides, walk underneath. The ship does not get in your way much at all when it's landed. Alright, so to no one's surprise, the first thing that you're going to find when you get in is you're going to end up in the armory. It's my favorite way of doing these ships. Coming back, you can see we end up in a Hope Tech companionway. Right underneath here is our docking bay access, and then we've got doors on either side. Over here, we find ourselves in the infirmary, and over here, I had space for a hab of basically any type, and in this case, it looks like I went with the Stroud computer bay. Next, we can go up one level, and we find ourselves in the Hope Tech, um, what's it called? Mess hall. Yeah, I knew I'd find the word eventually. So we've got enough seating here for 12 at the benches and another 4 at the table. We do have our full galley over here. And then on this side, we have a door coming out. And this is entering into, I believe this is the Deimos 3x1 all-in-one. Looks Deimos. Coming forward, we enter into a 2x1 Stroud all-in-one. Then we can fall down, and we enter into, looks like the Stroud 2x2 living quarters. Forward of this, we do have the, looks like this is the Deimos 3x1 Engineering Bay B. And then over here, we do have another Stroud 2x1 all-in-one. So that means that this side of the ship has 12 beds. As I wander on through, we're going to ignore going up for a quick moment and instead look at our Ares bridge, nice and centrally located. So if anybody is coming up to the ship, you can see them. And it also gives great visibility while in flight. Coming on over here, you can see that we have our nice little Hope Tech lounge area. And then this door leads into the, this is going to be the Deimos 3x1 living quarters hab. It's another 2 beds. Over here, we have a door that is leading into another 2x1 all-in-one from Stroud. So that brings us up to, I believe, 18 beds. Falling down here, we find ourselves in a 2x2 cargo hold hab. Which then leads us into, I do believe this is going to be the Deimos 3x1 Engineering Bay A. And then over here, another 2x1 all-in-one. And I just need to figure out where I put the ladder. Where the game put the ladder, I should say. And then we are going to wander back into our central mess hall. And jump up into the Tayo Captain's Quarters. So, 12, 13. That gives us, I believe, 23 beds on this ship, which is more than sufficient for a very large crew. And being realistic, unless your crew members have decided to wander off and you really need to talk to them for some reason, you only really need to worry about what is around this central ladder, because you can go straight up to find a bed to sleep in. And then, of course, down here you have the infirmary. And while I made this a computer core, for gameplay purposes, if you made this a workshop, you would have basically everything that you would need in the game right here, easily available for you. So, let's go ahead and take a look at how this ship is built. Alright, so step one, we are going to get our colors in our palette. And you can see here that I went with a slightly black color for colors 1 and 2. And then for color 3, I went with more of an electric bluish teal color. At least that's what I was saying to myself when I did it. Alright, now that we have all of that, let's go ahead, select all, and delete. Alright, so for building this ship, we are going to go ahead and start with the landing bay. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the Deimos armory. Then right behind it, our companionway. And as I said, I did the Hope Tech one here, though you could very easily do Deimos or any other that you wanted. On this side over here, I had, looks like, Stroud computer core. And on this side, we will go with the Stroud infirmary. Then, underneath right here, I'm going to pop on over to my dockers and grab the 110 DP docker. Note this is not the slim docker, this is the normal one. That's how I go ahead and have this be the central access point for my ship. Alright, next, right here, I'm going to go ahead and come back up to my habs. And here, just grab your favorite 2x3 mess hall. Alright, then, right up front here, I'm going to make a brief detour to my cockpits and grab that Ares bridge. And then come back on over to my habs. And I'm going to grab myself the tile top A captain's quarters. Then I'm going to come on over here, scroll all the way up to the Deimos, and I have the all-in-one right here. And then on this side, I have the living quarters. And then I have Stroud. I believe should be an A and this one a B, but if for some reason it decides to put a door through your bathroom, just swap the variant. Next, I'm going to come on down to the Stroud 2x2s. I'm going to grab a living quarters. And then I'm going to copy this on over here and make that the cargo hall. And then right here, I'm going to go ahead and grab myself the Deimos 3x1. And I had this one as the Engineering Bay B. And this one is the Engineering Bay. Oh, sorry. This one was the B, this one was the A. And then finally copy yet another one of these all-in-ones down. That doesn't look quite right. No, pull this back one. There we go. All right. Let me just double check everything's attached. Yes, it is. Perfect. So this is the layout of the Scorpion. Alrighty. So, what's next? Well, let's go ahead and grab my reactor and grav drive. So for my reactor, I am using the Pinch 8Z. And that just fits right in here. And now I need to go ahead and start grabbing some structural elements. So first things first, let me come on up here and grab myself some Deimos hulls. Alright, so I'm going to hide the reactor behind some Deimos hulls. And then I'm going to pull this up. And then right here, let's go ahead and grab a Deimos belly. And then right here, I'm going to go ahead and grab a Deimos cowling. Alright, now I've got these two spaces right here, which I can fill in with something. So let's go ahead and take a look at my grav drive. And we can see I'm using the RD3000 beta grav drive. And I can basically just kind of shove that into one of these little spots. And nobody knows it's there. Perfect. Next up, let's look at my fuel tanks. So for this ship, I'm using the H10 Atlas HE3 tanks. And I'm using two of these. And these are basically just hiding somewhere on the outside of my ship. And they are going to be hidden underneath some structural elements. So it doesn't really matter where they go, just that they're on my ship. Alright, next, right here, I'm going to pull this off. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a Hope Tech riser. I'm going to Then I'm going to duplicate my cowling back into place. And let's see how many risers I put on. At least one more. There we go. And this is where I stopped. Alright. Now from here, I went ahead and placed no, not that. What did I use here? It was another Deimos cowling. This is going to be forwards. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 Hope Tech risers coming up. And then I have 2 Hope Tech radiators coming forwards. Next, I'm going to take this Hope Tech Pipes 4. I'm going to place it at the front of the radiator. And then I'm going to go ahead and place a Skeg A right here. Next, I'm going to pull off the Hope Tech pipes. And I'm going to come on in here and I'm going to grab a Nova Wing. And then I'm going to grab a Horizon Weapons Mount. I'm going to flip the Nova Wing over, copy the Horizon Weapon Mount, duplicate the Nova Wing off, and I'm going to flip that back into place. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip the pipes into place. Now we can see that is all connected. And that gives me 5 weapon attach points, though I will either need to drop something into place to get the middle one, or I will need to move the pipes off, put the weapon on, and then flip glitch the pipes back into place. Alright, next let me just grab another Deimos cowling and flip that into place over the Ares bridge off the front of the captain's quarters. Alrighty. So that is the tail structure complete. Next, let's come on over here and grab my engines. So I am using the SAL 6330s. And as you can see, I'm using 4 of them on this ship. Just slap some nose Bs on while I'm back here. And then I'm going to go ahead and rotate around. And let me go ahead and slap another nose B on right on the front of the armory. Alright, I think the middle of the ship is kind of done. So let's go ahead and start working on these wings. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is right over here, I'm going to grab a Dymo's bumper. No flipping needed to get that into place. And then back here, I want to go to my cargo holds. And you'll notice that on this ship, I decided to go ahead and put some shielded cargo on. So I'm using 4 of the DeGamma 1000 shielded cargos. Just to kind of finish filling out this structure right here. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think I might have made a small mistake here. Because I think that this is actually going to be where my reactor is located. And therefore my grav drive is right there. That way I can then go ahead and toss on an MG20 wide right there. Alright, fine. There we go. There. That looks much better. Alright. Next, come on back on over here to the cargo. And I've got the Polar 2030 cargo holds, which I am placing in front of these 6330s. And this is, all told, give me the 3,000 cargo capacity that my ship has. Alrighty then. Let's come on over to the structural tab. And I'm going to scroll on down until I get to my Stratcap A's. Alright. And then we're going to start adding in our Acculander 11s. And then we are going to go ahead and add in some more Stroud Cap A's. So you can see all total I have 5 Acculander 11s. Then there are 2 Stroud Cap A's on the front here, 3 on the back, and then another 2 right here, and another 3 right here. Next, right in front of the engineering bay, I'm going to come on over here to the structural tab, scroll all the way on down, and then I'm going to grab a Tayo nose cap. And that gives me my little pinchy claw. Alright, so that is wing number 1 done. Let's go ahead, duplicate things on over. Not that one. Alright. And then copy on over the landing gear and duplicate this nose cap and the bumper here. Alright. Now it feels like something should be going in there. So let's go ahead and scroll on through. And yes. Put the other Skeg A on up there. And I believe that is all the structural pieces, but let me double check. Yep. Alright. So now it's just a matter of going ahead and tossing some equipment plates on. And this ship is basically done. There we go. 3 equipment plates. So now all I need is I need my shields and I need to get my weapons. So for my shields, this is a Class C ship, so I am of course using the Assurance SG-1800 shield generator. And this is just located somewhere on the ship. Let's see if it hides under here. And it does. Perfect. So, hidden somewhere under one of the many caps that it could be hiding under is the shield generator. It does not really matter where you put it. If you want it out in the open, there is some space right back here for it. And then all we need now is our weapons. So, for weapons, I decided to go very heavy into the, what's it called? The obliterators. So I am putting on 2 of the obliterator 250s up here. And then I am also putting on another obliterator 250 on top of the Ares bridge. Then I flip the Deimos cowling back into place over it. I am putting on 3 of the obliterated 250 alpha turrets, just located somewhere on the ship. And then to round it out, I am using three of the Exterminator 95 auto helium beams. And I'm just going to pull the pipes out of the way. Alright, and for this last one, I need to drop it into place then. Alright. There we go. Alright. And then finally, I need to assign my weapons. There we go. Alright, and apparently I'm missing one other thing. What is it? A Daimos hull? Alright, so it looks like I might have hidden the Daimos hull some underneath the landing gear. And then what else does I think I am missing? Ah, so I am using a scan jammer on this ship just because I can. Okay. So as you can see here, I these are the final stats. Um, the scan jammer does make it easier for you to go ahead and avoid contraband, and you can go ahead and pick this up on, say, the Red Mile. Um, or if, like me, you're using something that unlocks all the parts at, say, your outpost landing pad, you can pick that up here. If you don't care about being able to run contraband, you can easily drop this, and you can also drop the shielded cargo for normal cargo. And that's just going to increase your cargo capacity. Alright, let's go ahead and paint this ship. There we go. And with it all put back together, let us now go and give it a test drive. Alrighty. And you can see that it does like to go ahead and fixate kind of on the topmost part of the ship. But we can also pilot from inside. And it looks like all the firepower is coming from the tail, which is just funny. There we go. Whee. And despite being a Class C ship and only having about 80-ish maneuverability, it still comes across as very maneuverable. All right. And overall, you can see that I mostly like flying this ship because it just feels ridiculous. It can definitely perform. It does everything that you might need. But you also just kind of feel like you're a badass flying this. Whether you like doing the external view like I do, or the internal view, where you can still see some of your ship from your pilot seat. Ooh, ecliptic. All right. And on that fun note, I'm going to go ahead and leave you all there. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you very much, and I will see you next time as I run into things. All right. Now let's go ahead and get some pictures.